Well, hello everybody, Trucker Todd here, and we are having some technical difficulties on this end. I'll try to keep things going as best as I can. Let's see here. So, right when I was about to come on today, my hotspot crashed, reboot my phone, and so that took a second. Just a lot going on behind the scenes. It's just been pretty much one of those weeks. We'll get into it tonight. We'll give a few people a minute to get here. Um, I used to do shows every Tuesday and Thursday, and I've been having trouble getting them done lately. So people don't know when I'm going to be online, when I'm not. So I don't know how many we'll have, and honestly, don't know how long we'll go tonight. We'll just kind of play it by ear. It's been a crazy week. We'll jump into that as well. We'll get to your comments. Hopefully, y'all have had a crazy week too that we can talk about, or a really good week. I need to hear some good news. Before we get too deep into this, let's say hello to our 4 channel members. We got Robbie Ross, Ramon, we got Adam Murley, and Regnar. Regnar changed his name. He was something else before, and I'm not real sure who that is, but hopefully he'll come in here tonight and we'll figure that out together. As far as, well, let's say hello to a few people and then we'll talk about the week and hear how y'all's week's gone and all of that. It's been a pretty discouraging week. For those of you that are owner-operators, don't forget, technically your $22.90 is due today, $550. However, you do have until August 31st to pay that, and thank goodness for that. It's my understanding that most people at the company I've worked at have already paid theirs. I have not paid mine yet. I'll be paying mine closer to August 31st, and when you hear about my last week, you'll understand why. All right, let's jump in. First in here today was channel member and moderator Robbie Ross. Hello, friends from Kingdom City, Missouri, heading to Indy. I'm currently in Garden City, Kansas, and I'm headed to Fort Morgan, Colorado for a tomorrow morning delivery. But I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do a video. I've been having phone problems all week. You guys know I'm a beta tester. Okay, I hope everybody's still here with me. As you can see, having a lot of technical problems here tonight. We'll get into that as well. AT&T has just been awful the last couple of weeks. If you've tried to call me, you've probably experienced it. If if you've tried to send me something, you've probably experienced it as well. And so dealing with that, but believe it or not, that's kind of the minor issue that's going on this week. Second in here today was Gary Cook. He says, hello from Columbus, Ohio. And Shane says, hello, Todd. Hello, Shane. Also, William Hartman is here. Good to see you again. Been a while. How are you doing? And Bitcoin John says, looking good. Thank you. Yeah, it went down for a second. I hope we didn't lose too many people during that time. But yeah, it kind of went down. This week was really tough. I almost had something really, really bad happen to me. Roger Berry, well, I put a message in, but I don't see it. Hello from Wytheville, Virginia. Hope all is well. Yes, sir. Thank you for being here, my friend. Shane says, hello, Todd. I hope your week's better than mine. No, actually, it wasn't. I've had one of the worst weeks I can recall in recent memory. We're going to jump into that here. I know I'm kind of dragging it out. I just want to give everybody a chance to get in here. We lost a lot of people when the deal crashed a second ago. Shannon Thomas, good evening, everyone. From home, trucking the shop, getting a PM. 6 new tires, all new shocks, DOT, and a fresh set of new springs. I'm in 5K so far and been home since Saturday, waiting for completion. Yeah, my situation's very similar to yours. The expense of a repair can get you, but the downtime can kill you. And I don't think people that's never owned a truck or been in a lease purchase or anything like that understand that the downtime can hurt you a lot worse than what the repair itself can. And the shops are getting insane with their pricing. And we're going to have to jump into it here pretty quick because I hate to keep dragging y'all along. Bitcoin John, much better now. Thank you, sir. What I did, I reset my phone. I'm running dual SIMs. I went on the other SIM, and it looks like it's trying to crash again. Hopefully it won't. Jerry McClure, Todd, I think Swift is fire. I get asked about Swift a lot even now, and what I would say about that, different people ask me different things. So YouTubers ask me about recruiting over there, and truck drivers ask me about trucking over there. And I can tell you that it's been a little over 2 years ago when I was there. When I was there, I did very, very, very well. But it was a different time. It was a different market. It's not fair for people now to compare themselves to what I did there. It's a totally different situation. Can you still make money there? Yeah. Do I believe it's as good as it was 2 years ago? No. Do I still know a lot of really good people over there, drivers and office people? Yeah. And still talk to them periodically. I think Michelle released in a video on another channel recently that she had talked to me recently. So I still stay in touch. I think we all know that Dart and Swift both are two places I really liked. I really thought pretty highly of as organizations and as of companies. But it's a totally different beast now. They've got different leadership. Some of the leadership's still there, but the CEO or president or whatever you want to call him is a different guy now. I have not met him personally. He was there in a different capacity when I was there, and so we never did cross paths, but seems like a pretty good guy. But I've heard a lot of drivers over there complaining about the load board, about freight availability and things like that. So I'm not necessarily recommending them or not recommending them right now just because I don't know what it's like over there. But I can tell you my experience 2.5 years ago was pretty good over there. What are you hearing over there, Jerry? And moderator, Red Raider reloading. Hello, all. I'm listening as I'm driving. Good to have you here, my friend. I was meaning to call you and kind of check on you. I think some of you kind of know what my week was like. Some of you do not. And Shane says, you're the one that helped me about Dart. Well, I appreciate that. I'm going to be honest with you. I was talking to some Dart drivers here lately, and I'm worried about Dart as a company. At one point, they had like 3,100 trucks when I was there, and now they're down to like 300 or 400. They're not buying any new trucks. They've got a lot of 2019, 2020 trucks, and so it's not the kind of things you want to see. Their trailers were ratty back then for the most part. Now they're even rattier, I'm sure, 3 or 4 years later. So I hate to hear that because it's a great company, and quite honestly, their lease purchase is probably one of the best you're going to find as far as percentage of drivers that pay off trucks or that did pay off trucks. Keep in mind, again, my information's 3 years old. This is my recollection of them. Universally, most people agree that you want to stay out of the Lancaster, DFW area shop. And I would agree with that wholeheartedly. It ultimately led to me leaving there and leaving a truck that I absolutely loved. It was a Peterbilt. You can go back and check those videos out if you want to. It was a great truck. Little on the plain side, but very nice. Okay, I'm going to do 2 more comments and then I'll tell you about my wonderful week. So Adam, who's also a moderator, says, here hauling liquid fertilizer. I'm hauling some kind of chemical. They said it was fertilizer when I talked to the broker. And when I got there, they said it was Treflan, which is a weed killer. I'm not sure what it is. It's in those big plastic totes that you have to have a tanker endorsement for. Non-hazmat, though, so that's why I can do it. And the last one I'm going to read before I tell you all about my week. I think Dart's safety score has been pretty detrimental to them, unfortunately. Yeah, Shannon Thomas worked there also, and I think she would agree that a lot of great people in the office, overall a great company, not a terrible lease purchase, but just, man, they've done something to where they've screwed the pooch, because it was a good place to be, and they shouldn't be down that low at 300 or 400 trucks. I don't know if they're grooming themselves to sell. If I know they lost some big accounts, but that's what you have a sales department for, and hopefully they can get some of those accounts back. All right, so let me tell you all about my week. I was cruising along. I picked up a load in Houston, and I'm going down the road about 70 miles an hour, and I blow a airbag on my truck. The load shifts on my trailer, and so I see smoke because of all that's going on. The airbag's blown, the trailer's leaning real bad. I start trying to get over on the shoulder, and of course there's a lot of traffic, and right when I'm about to get on the shoulder next to an exit, the trailer slams down because the load shifted onto my drive tires. And I just barely, and I mean barely, clipped the exit sign with my right mirror on my door. And of course, these Freightliner mirrors, cheap plastic, knocked it off. And I'm sitting on the side of the road. Now, the load shifted so bad and was on the drive tires so bad that it lifted the trailer tires on the opposing side off the ground about 2 or 3 inches. I've got pictures of that. If anybody wants to see it, email me at todd@truckertodd.net, and I'll show you the pictures. And so the guy comes out to put an airbag on, and he passed me 4 times. And I was getting furious because, they charge time while they drive out. They usually charge mileage. I ended up putting it on SRO's charge account because they don't charge mileage then, and it makes it a little cheaper. But he passed me 4 times, knowing exactly where I was at. I was talking to him on the phone as he went by me. And of course, it was a Love's, as it would be, that was the only thing really in the area. And so he comes out. He can't jack my truck up because the load shifted. So he makes this little device, hooks it to my airbags, manually airs up my other airbags to lift the truck up enough that he can get the airbag replaced. So we get it going. The trailer is still really, really lockjawed, really, really lockjawed. And at this point, I'm low on fuel. I've been out there a while. I'm 18 miles from where I'm supposed to get fuel, where I had planned to get fuel. So I drive this thing lockjawed the 18 miles, get it there, and get some fuel. I have to get the trailer reworked. That ended up costing me $1,000. And the way they did it, it was me and 2 other guys and a pallet jack and a winch. And we moved the pallets around and kind of secured each one of them individually with straps. And I had hauled talc the load before it, so the trailer was super slick on the inside. And I drove it with one mirror all the way from there to, well, it was a pretty good little drive. I want to say it was a little over 700 miles to just north of Albuquerque. Delivered the load. The guy that unloaded me was new. He told me to go out one way, and that was blocked off, and he didn't know it. So I ended up having to do an incredible back that I should have received a trophy for. There's no way I'm a skilled enough driver to accomplish that back. I was really impressed with myself that day. I called my mechanic guy in Lubbock that I do stuff with, and he said he would put a mirror on it for $65, and he thought he had found me 2 of them for $140. Well, as luck would have it, my truck is a 2019, and apparently in 2019, Freightliner changed their mirror styles. The mirrors he found were 2018. They weren't going to match. And so I ended up ordering a mirror off of Amazon. Now, some of you might say, well, why didn't you just go ahead and put those other mirrors on? Well, keep in mind, I was in Albuquerque at the time. I didn't know if the plug-ins would be the same for the heated mirrors, for the power mirrors, all that. And I wanted OEM stuff on there. I didn't want to jerry-rig it. And so ordered a mirror off Amazon, $270. And it came in Monday. And he put it on Monday afternoon for me. And so it was nice to have a mirror again. I got to say, I didn't realize how hard it is to drive a truck without a right mirror. Especially backing, extremely difficult. I was a nervous wreck. And I remember that morning when I was talking to Scott, when we were waiting for the guys to get there and do the rework, I was telling him, I've never been rattled like this before. And I was like, when the trailer load shifted, when everything happened, the wheels came off the ground, it scared me. If I'd have wrecked at 70 miles an hour, it probably wouldn't have been a good outcome. And he was kind of giving me a pep talk like a coach would give a football player. He was like, man, Todd, you've been driving almost 30 years. He's like, use your good judgment, make safe decisions, be careful. He's like, you know what you're doing, you can do this. And I was really rattled. It was not something I was expecting or something I was used to. So got the truck fixed. It's looking like I am going to have to replace a few drive tires now. Some of them got some damage when that trailer dropped. But the deal is, I guess a Texas Ranger happened to be behind me when I was trying to get over to the shoulder, and when the load shifted and it threw me into that sign. And it worked out being a good thing that he was, because he called a deputy to come out and park behind me so that, cars would see me, because they just ignore the triangles when you put those out. And of course, they all ran my license, all looked for reasons to write me tickets, couldn't find nothing. They called a highway patrol, same thing. He ran my license again, looked at my logbook, all of that. But I think the thing that saved me from getting in trouble was the Texas Rangers. Like, yeah, he's just unlucky. There's nothing he could have done. As soon as it blew, he started trying to get over, and he said when the load shifted and the trailer dropped down on the drives, it was like locking the wheels up. There was nothing he could do. And so I was grateful the Texas Ranger was there. Super nice guy. And I was grateful to law enforcement in general. They were really good that day. And the Love's mechanic himself, he was really good in this case. I do believe he was trying to milk the road charges a little bit. But he did a great job once he got out there. I haven't had any more problems with the truck. So that tells me he fixed things correctly. And, when he was out there, he was under the truck, and he goes, normally I recommend replacing all 4 airbags. And he said, just do them all at once. But he said, your other 3 look great. He said, even the one that blew looks good. He's like, I don't know why it blew. But I said, well, I'm just probably the unluckiest guy in the world. But I didn't realize how bad it was. When I opened the trailer doors and looked at the load, it looked like they were uniformly stacked on the right side of the trailer, and it kind of tweaked the trailer to where it looked like the walls were bent. I remember Scott asking me, "Hey, did it bend the walls?" I said, "No, the trailer's just tweaked. When we get this load straightened out, it's going to come back," and it did. There's no bent walls, no damage to the trailer of any kind, and man, though, that 18 miles I was driving, I thought, man, if I get pulled over, they're going to have a field day with me. And so I was glad we got everything done. When the guy came out and looked at it, I didn't think it was going to be that bad. I figured he's going to charge me $300 or $400. And when he said $1,000, I immediately thought, man, I am in the wrong profession. They're always hiring tow truck drivers and stuff in Lubbock. Maybe I need to become a tow truck driver. I don't think I could get out and do the manual labor anymore, but it's insane what those guys make. They're making money like they're cardiologists or something. And Shane here talking about Dart again says some of their trailers are still good. They keep me going. I love it, and I have nothing bad to say about them. Yeah, I just I hope they're okay, because like I said, I'll always think fondly of them. I ain't gonna lie to you. You guys know there's a few people over there that that I don't think highly of. Mainly one in particular. I think the other one left. But other than that, pretty good place to work. I've definitely worked at a lot worse places. Shannon Thomas, I'm grateful for the time I was there. It taught me how to be strong. I learned a lot there as well. I actually got load board experience at Roadrunner, because they made you deal with a broker when I had to book a load to Lubbock, because it was out of their, far from their terminal to terminal stuff. So that kind of springboarded me to Dart. And Dart said, well, since you've ran a load board over at Roadrunner, we're going to put you on the OPI board here. And I learned a lot there. I had a good dispatcher or fleet manager, whatever you want to call her, that I could go to with questions, and really learned a lot there. And so I had a good experience there. It's my understanding that they stopped the load board, and now they've got it coming back slowly, but they're only offering it to new hires, which I'll be honest, I think it's kind of cruddy that they're not offering it to their existing drivers, that they'll let a new hire have it, but they won't let an existing driver that's been doing a good job for them. What I think they should do is use it as a recruiting tool, as a retention tool. Say, hey, you want to be on our OPI board? You want to run the spot market? You want to pick your own freight? Great. Work here for a year, have a good service record, and we'll consider you for it. Instead of letting the new hires on there that that hadn't had to earn it, hadn't had to work for it. You know, DART doesn't know what their service record's going to be like, how good a driver they're going to be, nothing like that. But I guess to each their own. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had it strapped in the front. Well, I mean, at the back, you know. But what we ended up having to do is we had to put 3 singles in the front against the wall and strap them individually. I put probably 20 straps back there because they were on that talc that was still in the floor, even after sweeping it and blowing it out with my blower and all that. And so we'd have the first 3 that we strapped to the right wall, and then we doubled them for like the next few and individually strapped those to the wall. And then at the back, we had 3 on the left side and individually strapped those to the wall. And I mean, really strapped, like 2 straps per pallet. It was insane. I wish, and I may have a picture of how we strapped it. Anybody wants to see all that, send me an email, todd@truckertodd.net, and I'll show you. It was crazy. So Roger Berry says, will your insurance cover any of that? I actually asked the exact same question, and it was recommended to me that I just handle it myself. First of all, you've got a deductible and $1,000 for the rework, and you know, $300 for the mirror. Let's say $330 with labor and everything. You're looking at $1,300. So, and then you're going to have a claim on your insurance. So after consulting with several people about it, we kind of decided that to avoid the insurance claim, risk premiums going up. And I'm personally insured, so it would have gone through my insurance. I don't know that it would have affected SRO Logistics at all. But for the difference between what my deductible is and what my out-of-pocket expenses are, it just made more sense to leave insurance out of it. Gary Cook, did he speak English? Yeah, he did. He was definitely an American, and I'd got kind of short with him on the phone, and I thought it was going to get confrontational when he got there, because I was upset the 4th time he passed by me. And after we got calmed down and got to talking, he turned out to be a pretty good guy. But he's an MMA guy. I would have got tagged if I'd have picked a fight with him. But yeah, he turned out to be a pretty good guy, and he worked his tail off. And I ended up apologizing to him and telling him I'm sorry for my behavior. I was just upset. It's been one of those days. He's like, oh, I get it. And so we ended up parting on good terms, but there were some tense moments there in the beginning. Shannon Thomas Trucking KB is still doing okay there. Yeah, I really like him. He doesn't put out very many videos, though. I wish he would put out more content. We were talking for a while, and he doesn't ever text me or call me anymore, but I always wonder how he's doing. But by the way, I wanted to ask you, Shannon, before I forget, when are they thinking your truck will be done? While everybody's typing comments, let me just remind everybody, if you get a chance, go hit that thumbs up, share this video out. Somebody asked me the other day, how do I share it? you hit the share deal and you can send it as a text message, or there's lots of ways you can share it. You can copy the link, you can put it on your Facebook, things like that. You can do a community post with it. It helps me in the algorithms, helps more people see my videos. This channel almost died after my stroke, and I'm trying to build it back. And so when you do things like that, it really helps. So as I said, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed. Now, after you subscribe, you got to hit that bell and select all so that you receive notifications when future videos come out. All of those things are free to do, and they really, really help me out. Now, if you're wanting to spend money, if the spot market's been good to you, if your company's been good to you, there's a button that says join. You can hit that and become a channel member. It's only like $5 a month. Also, down by where you comment, there's a $sign. You can click on that and do a super chat or things like that, if those are things that interest you. But otherwise, we'll jump back into the comments. I was just trying to fill some time while y'all are typing. And if y'all don't have anything, I'll jump off here and start heading towards Fort Morgan, Colorado. But I just want to give you a few more seconds to type your questions and comments. By the way, I mentioned earlier in the show that that 2290s are due today. You got till August 31st. How many of you have already gone ahead and prepaid that, and how many of you are doing kind of like I'm doing and waiting until closer to August 31st? At this point, I have no choice. I spent a lot of money. I ended up having to deadhead from Albuquerque back to Lubbock to get that mirror. And I called all kinds of truck wrecking yards. And you would think they'd have tons of crap for Freightliners. Nobody had that mirror. So Amazon ended up being my best option. So just a very, very costly week. And so, yeah. But, man, the comments have died off. I think it's everybody shocked I'm here on my normal time. Shannon Thomas Trucking. I hadn't got any word on my truck yet. I will call tomorrow. I bet you it'll be Monday, knowing them. They are my local shop, so it's pretty good, I guess. Yeah, that's cool. And if you're going to do that, it's better to be at home where you're not forking out 100 or 120 a day for a hotel. That's another thing that can add up quick. Sometimes if you're going to be in a hotel that long, it's cheaper to rent a car and go home, or buy a plane ticket and go home and then come back when the truck's done. So you're not, just wasting time and money in a hotel. Shane says, glad you got it stopped without flipping. Mine was about the same in price, but a guy backed into me and broke my driver mirror and then blew a drive tire the next day, an airline after that. Yeah, that's really what's going to make this the most expensive part, is probably within the next couple of weeks. I'm going to have to start buying drive tires. And you don't have to go very many videos back to know that I was recently bragging. I've got really good tires all the way around. And I've got some with some flat spots now that I feel like they'll have to be probably replaced in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Shannon Thomas said she did her 2290 July 1st. I knew Shannon would. She's like a role model truck driver, but I can't be the only one that waits till like the second or third week in August. I've done it since the very first 2290 I ever paid for. Now, the reason I say it that way, some companies will pay your 2290 and then you pay it back over so many weeks. Usually it's like 10 weeks and they'll charge you $55 a week or $60 a week. But since I had to start filing it and taking care of it myself, I always pay it like the second or third week in August. And I felt like a lowlife today when I told him, yeah, I'm going to pay it. you know, near the end of August when it's due. But I knew Shannon would be one of the early adopters. Gary Cook, did you say you was in Houston when it happened? I was actually out of Houston. I was about 90 miles north of Houston, just south of College Station is where I was at. And quite honestly, I'm surprised that the way people look for me out on the road and stuff, I'm surprised somebody didn't get it on video and it'd be all over YouTube or. But yeah, the funny thing was, I get to the stop where I'm going to get fuel. I'm in the fuel island, and I had 3 people stop and go, "Hey, did you know your truck's leaning?" No, I didn't have a clue. I mean, come on, guys. It was pretty obvious, but they would, even when I was like driving that 18 miles and it was leaning pretty good, they'd pull up beside me. I got stuck at a railroad crossing, and they'd pull up beside me. "Hey, your load's leaning." No kidding. I had no idea. I couldn't feel it or nothing. It's like, how dumb do you think I am? Don't answer that. It's a trick question. Adam, moderator. At least they didn't find anything to cite you for. We all know you're famous and everyone wants your autograph, but that's not an autograph you want to give. Yeah, but I'm famous for the wrong things. I'm famous for having really weird things happen to me that don't happen to normal people. And I've had here lately, since I'm not doing as many videos, people will email me or they'll text me and they'll say, "Todd, I miss your adventures. I wish you'd just do a video and tell us, what's going on." And the truth is, Tuesday night, I was at home waiting on that mirror. I could have, no, wait, let me think about that. No, Tuesday night, the mirror had been installed. I couldn't find a load Tuesday. That's something else we can talk about. The rates and the loads were just awful. And so I'm at the house Tuesday night, and I could have probably done a live, and I was just so disgruntled, I didn't even want to deal with it. I was like, man, I didn't even know if I wanted to tell y'all about this stuff. And I've been surprised how many people have said, "Todd, I had something similar happen to me." And I almost flipped my truck. One guy said it didn't happen to him, but a buddy of his did flip a truck like that. And I said, well, I could see how, because it was just as much luck as it was skill that I didn't flip that truck. And that would have been, you guys know that if you flip a truck, it's almost impossible to continue driving after that. A lot of companies don't want to mess with you. So I might have been Todd the Walmart door greeter after that or something like that. Or as much as I don't want to sell cars again, I might have been selling cars again. So I'm glad that didn't happen. I'm still hanging on, but I mean, it's by my fingernails. I really need some good weeks in the month of August. Matter of fact, August needs to be my best month of the year so far. And hopefully it can be. I got reason for optimism. As far as the load board goes, as I kind of alluded to, the rates are in the tank for the most part. There are a few good loads on there, but I find I'm having to deadhead a little further than I like to, and I'm finding that I have to claw and scratch and dig a little more. It's more like a needle in a haystack. There's plenty of cheap freight on there. I had a guy the other day, a broker, and he was $600, I think it was, below the 30-day average. And I said, man, I told him, I said, man, I really want to do this load. I just can't do it at that rate. I said, here's what the 30-day average is. I'll be happy to send you a screenshot. Can you meet me halfway? Can we do anything on this load? He's like, no, if you don't want it, somebody will take it. He said, I was like, well, it's supposed to pick up in 2 hours. I'm going to have to hustle to go get it. You're going to end up having to reschedule it. The shipper's going to be upset. Let's work something out on this load. He's like, nope, I don't have to. I'll just wait. There'll be a driver that'll come along that'll haul it this cheap. He said, I know it's cheap, but he said, there's drivers that'll do it. And that's what's making the market tough right now, is that people don't know their worth, or maybe their value is a better way to say it. Most of you are worth more than what you're representing yourself for. And, now don't overvalue yourself and say, well, I want $10 a mile. But at the bare minimum, most of you should be getting market average or a little over market average, especially with fuel rates going up and things like that. And, there's a carrier, I'm not going to say their name. We'll be talking about them in a few weeks. I got a guy coming on the show, and he loves to talk about them. And they're notorious on their load board for putting a load on there and letting drivers slit each other's throats. They'll put a load on there that's 10 or 14 days out, and you'll go in there and bid on it, and then guys will just undercut you. And I don't mean if you bid 2,500, somebody will bid 2,400. I mean, you'll bid 2,500 and somebody will bid 1,300. And it just makes it tough. And a lot of people, including myself, thought that when the ELP, the English language proficiency, it's funny that I stuttered on English language proficiency. I'm not too proficient myself sometimes, but everybody thought that was going to make a big difference, including me. The problem is there's a lot of states that just because it came from Trump, they hate it and they're not going to enforce it. California's done almost nothing on English language proficiency. Some states have done better. I saw Wyoming is really going after it. So that it hadn't had the impact that I'd hoped it would, and it's just because the states don't want to enforce it. And I wish it was a two-way street, though. If states can pick what laws they want to enforce and which laws they don't want to enforce, then I wish I could pick which laws I want to obey and which ones I don't want to obey. If I don't like the speed limit in the state, I ought to be able to drive whatever speed I want to. If I don't like logbooks, I shouldn't have to run a logbook if I don't want to. But these states, to me, it's criminal what they're doing about choosing which laws they'll enforce and which ones they won't. Moderator Adam, I was watching Driveline and he was saying rates are down in Texas and was saying Texas is the new Florida. Are you seeing that? It was in Lubbock for sure. Florida's really bad too. Used to, you could get a good load going into Florida and you would take a bath coming out of Florida. I'm seeing a lot of stuff going into Florida for $1.50 a mile, $1.70 a mile, and then you're still taking a bath coming out of Florida. As far as Texas, when I went to Houston, I got a great rate out of there, so it seemed like Houston was pretty good. But man, West Texas was awful, and that's my stomping grounds. I usually get really good loads there. The only exception to that was going to Colorado. There was some good stuff going to Colorado, and that's why I came to Colorado. Shot over to Kansas. Now I'm going back to Colorado. I'll eventually ping pong out of there into a better area, but I definitely did not want to come up here. It was the best that was available at the time. Skyline says, hit the like, everyone. Yes, sir. Thank you for that. Let's see. Red Raider Reloading moderator. You mean Super Ego has S? I got to skip down to his other one, then I'll come back to the next one. He says, I didn't know Super Ego was coming on your show. No. I would love to have Super Ego on. I'd be happy to talk to those folks. Matter of fact, that's a great idea. I might contact them and see if they want to come on. The problem is I've never done a gotcha show. And And I always tell, that's my fear of doing one, is I don't want people to come up, be afraid to come on, because they're going to be afraid it's a gotcha moment. But super ego, it would be a gotcha moment even if I didn't want it to be a gotcha moment, because I think they're the worst company in trucking. I think that it's a ripoff. I think your odds of success there are very, very minuscule, less than 1%. And let me give you a comparison. Dart Transit versus Super Ego. You'll pay off 100 trucks at Dart before you pay off one at Super Ego. And not to say you can't fail at either company, but I just believe your odds of success are a lot better at Dart than they are at Super Ego or Swift. I can't throw SRO in there because they don't have a lease purchase. Shannon Thomas, yes, but to get to Cali most of the time I go through Oklahoma or Arkansas danger zone if you aren't English proficient. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But you know, when logbooks became a thing, electronic logbooks, you didn't have certain states go, well, we're not going to enforce it, and certain states go, we are. When all these regulations we've got now, when DOT medical cards became a thing, you didn't have states go, we're not going to enforce that. We don't care if you have a medical card or not. All of these things, but just because their hatred of Trump, and it doesn't matter in this case if you like him or don't, everybody's hatred of him, they're opposed to anything he suggests. And nobody's wrong 100% of the time. You know, I'm sure there's things Biden did that I would agree with. I'm sure there's things Obama did that I would agree with. And by the same token, there's things that Trump does that I disagree with. But you shouldn't immediately oppose somebody just because of who they are. Hear what they have to say and weigh it against your own beliefs and decide if you feel the same way they do or don't. Don't worry about what political party they're in. Is what they're suggesting good for the economy or for your life or bad for the economy? And sometimes you got to look past your life. There may be things that are bad for you, but it would be better for the country as a whole. Take flat taxes, for example, and I won't go political here too long. A flat tax would be great for most people. Probably wouldn't be great for me, but for a lot of people, a flat tax would be a great deal, especially for the poor. But the problem is now you've got about half the country that pays all the taxes. And we need it to where everybody's got some skin in the game. I hope you can still hear me. It said I lost my mic for a minute. I'll repeat this comment. Shane said, I worked there for 2 weeks and I'll never go there again in my life. Talking about super ego, I'm assuming. Red Raider Reloading, moderator, Texas should be leading the nation in English proficiency. I think it depends what part of Texas you're in. And Red Raider knows because he lives in Texas, but Texas is huge. And there's a little bit of everything here. I mean, you name it, we've got it in Texas. And so it's almost like several countries in one. There's parts of Texas where English is really, really good, and parts of Texas where it's questionable. There's parts of Texas that are really, really politically conservative, and there's parts of Texas that are really, really liberal. So the first thing I say when somebody tells me, well, I don't like Texas, I say, well, what part of Texas are you from? And that tells me a lot about that person based on where they say they're from. Skyline says someone hit my truck in a facility in Minooka, Illinois since June 28th, still in the shop. Freightliner in Gary, Indiana, some guy with sandals from Schneider. Oh man, well maybe he was on his way to the beach that day. I'm wearing my Hawaiian shirt today, but I don't have flip-flops on. But man, why is it taking so long to fix your truck, Skyline? And I believe you live in Nebraska, so you're a pretty good ways from the house. Are they putting you in since you're a company driver, do they pay for a hotel and give you breakdown pay, or how are you handling that? Gary Cook, California governor hates Trump. Yeah, but at some point, I mean, it's not really even about Trump. We elect people, and so he won the election fair and square, and he's doing what he thinks his constituency wants. And if you don't like what he's doing, then beat him in the next election. Gavin Newsom could have ran for president and probably will in the next election, but Trump will be gone by then. And Shane says yes, meaning that he's talking about superego. So I would never go to a company or not go to a company because of equipment, referring to a lease purchase. But I can say this, I have yet to see a truck from Superego that I got excited about. They're all white, they're all as plain as you can get. And you know, I said earlier in this video, my black Peterbilt at Dart was a pretty plain truck, but it was nice. And it had a good look to it. But I have yet to see a truck at Superego that I thought, wow. Most of them look run down. The drivers aren't taking care of them for the most part that I've seen. So that tells me they're not making money. And it's just a revolving door of people going in and out of them. I got to imagine they're getting picked on at the scales because everybody's heard the rumors of what they're doing with their logbooks and everything. And YouTube is filled with videos about them, about people saying, hey, I got cheated out of money. They ripped me off, things like that. I mean, every company has a few of those, but it's far more with Superego than any other company. Okay, I'm getting educated here. Skyline says, I went home. Remember, I'm an owner-operator since last year. I got a rental from Crete. Damage was $22K plus. Maybe next week I'll get it back. So, no, I'm behind on the time, Skyline. I knew you were looking to buy a truck, and I thought something had held that up and you decided to stay a company driver. I think the last time I talked to you, you were in a blue truck as a company driver. But I'll be the first to admit my memory is horrible, and I may have the facts all wrong there, but I'm glad you got a rental and was able to keep working. That would have been a real gut punch if you'd have been down all this time. Shane says, Snyder is the one that hit me. Superego, start your clock over after you ran 14 clock out. Then 15 minutes later, you have a full clock to run again. See, that's even if, and let me say it this way, the company I work for now, safety is very, very important. They don't want me doing anything illegal. Now, they'll let me do whatever's legal, but they don't want me doing anything legal. They don't want me doing anything dangerous. Just like I told you when I was talking about the load shifting. He's like, Todd, you got almost 30 years experience. Use your judgment, use your skill and expertise, and do what you think's best. He's like, I trust your judgment. Um, but even if I worked for a company that was willing to adjust my logs, even if he called me and said, "Hey Todd, I'll fix your logs, keep going." I've got a CPAP machine that records my data. I mean, eventually I'm going to get caught. If at no other time, when I go to do my DOT physical, they're going to look and say, "Hey, you hadn't been using your machine. You're supposed to use it a minimum of 4 hours a day. You're using it 30 minutes a day or whatever." I just also, I'm sitting here looking at least three things that track me. I'm looking at my GPS, I'm looking at my Elite Pass, and I'm looking at my logbook and cell phone if they wanted to. Those things ping. They're going to know when I went down a toll road, all of those things. They're going to know that my hours have been messed with. In the old days, and you guys know I've never violated logbook rules. I always followed the rules to a T. But I've heard stories of, like, if you had a load going from Dallas to Oklahoma City and back to Dallas, that you would log it while you were doing it, and then when you got back to Dallas, you would change your logbook and say you'd been in Dallas the whole time off duty. Things like that happened back in the day. Of course, I never did it, but people did that, and so anyway, now with the way we're being tracked, and I forgot about my dash cam, it also tracks me. So there's multiple ways I would get caught if I did something like that with Super Ego or where I'm at now or anywhere else. By the way, if you've got a truck, they don't have lease purchase, but they are a great place to work and they put up with me. Email safety@srologistics.com and find out about opportunities that might or might not be available for you. We pull drive in, we run the spot market, we pick our own loads, we negotiate our own rates. As far as pay, he's got a 75-25 option and an 80-20 option. But the details of those and how those work, I'd prefer that he went over those with you. So email him at safety@srologistics.com. If you need to email me, it's todd@truckertodd.net. All of that information's at the ticker scrolling across the bottom of your screen. But yeah, um, I just don't see how they're getting away with it. It seems like a very short-term strategy. Of course, they're not worried. They're never going to do a night in jail. But if you have an accident or you get caught, you're going to go to prison. And they're going to say, "We didn't know he was doing that, and we're in Romania, so we don't care." Gary Cook, I think Super Ego pays off the DOT. You never know. It wouldn't surprise me if they don't already have some drivers working undercover for Super Ego building a case against them. I don't have any inside knowledge, but that wouldn't surprise me at all. Typically, the way those things work is, hang on. Typically, the way those things work is they will surveillance them for a longer period of time so that they can build a really strong case against them. And it wouldn't surprise me if that's what's going on. I think they'll be front page news at some point. Skyline, surprisingly, Schneider admitted they had faults, so they are paying for all my expenses, even my rental. Oh boy, y'all are fixing to see me lose it. I'm going to have to mute this real quick. I've got to make a quick call. I'm sorry. Trust me, you didn't want to hear that phone call. So there's a certain broker that uses an AI service that's a robot that calls you every hour on the hour, asking you about your load, if you've delivered, where you're at, all of that. It's all AI. It's not a real person. The problem is I delivered that load this morning at like 10:30 or 11. I've already scanned the POD over to them. Their tracking app, I already put on there that I delivered the load. Like I said, I emailed them the POD, and they're calling me every hour on the hour to ask me if I delivered the load, if it was a clean bill of lading, all of that. And they've had this stuff for 8 hours now at least. And so I wasn't very nice to the AI thing. I asked for an operator, and of course, it didn't give me one. But hopefully, they'll stop calling. They're going to mess around and get blocked, is what's going to happen. And Chris Bollinger is here, sliding in late. Yeah, I know where you were at. I know where you were at. After the show, call me and let me know what was going on over there. You missed all the fun though. I've been talking trash for over an hour. Shane says I had Schneider on camera, so they had to pay for my mirror. Cost me $800. I got the money back just now. Yeah, I haven't done it yet, but I'd like to go pull the dash cam footage of when that airbag blew, because I bet that's a pretty fun video to watch. And I may pull that video and make it a short or something so everybody can see it. Like I said, I got pictures of everything in video. Uh, I've been too upset to post it, but I got it. So this one, let's see, it would have been last week. I'll have to look and see what the date was on it, but nobody hit it. When the load shifted, I was far enough on the shoulder that the truck leaned hard enough that it kind of karate chopped it on an exit sign. Didn't hurt the sign really. Um, they've got them on breakaway bolts. It knocked it off the bolts, but the sign itself was fine. They'll just put 3 bolts in it and it'll be fine. But yeah, it's I can look real quick and give you. I want to say it happened on Thursday, like Wednesday or Thursday of last week, roughly a week ago from today. Sounds right in my head anyway. And Gary Cook says, I got to see a super single tire blow. Sounds like a cannon going off. Yeah, I bet. I just, man, a load like I had, if I'd have had a super single blow, I think that would have been a real scary day at the office for sure. And Robbie Ross says, darn it, can't send a super sticker. Why? What's it say? All right, everybody. According to Robbie Ross, the super sticker function is not working right now. Everybody go down there and leave a super sticker, and let's see if it works for anybody else or if it's just Robbie's end having a problem. Ted Van Buskirk, sorry, late again, too much going on. What could be more important than watching Trucker Todd? Yeah, I won't air too much of Ted's stuff on here, but he's got some stuff going on at his house right now that he's trying to get ironed out. So I totally understand. And Robbie Ross, channel member and moderator, says it does nothing. That's a little frustrating. I don't know what's going on. I'm having all kinds of technical issues tonight. I don't know if it's YouTube or StreamYard, or I'm definitely having some AT&T issues. Shane said his mirror was last Thursday when Schneider hit his mirror. That's concerning. I don't know how to fix it. This is the last day of the month too, so it'd sure be nice to get it on there. I kind of wonder, and we'll get back into the comments in a second. They had a major, like a 8.1 or 8.3 earthquake off the coast of Russia that was causing a tsunami. And the way the world's interconnected now, I wonder if that could be why we're having electrical glitches here. But you never know what's behind it all. Ted Van Buskirk, my wife, said the internet's been glitching on her today too, on Poshmark. Yeah, it may be something going on in the cyber world that's affecting everything. And Mark Ely is here. Long time no see, my friend. How's things going over there? He says, "What's up, everyone?" Skyline says, "Thanks to Shane." Robbie Ross, channel member moderator, says, "Sorry, bud. It's all right, man. I appreciate you trying." He says he's going to try to reboot. Yeah, try that, and maybe it'll work after that. Gary Cook says he thinks Hawaii got hit as well. Yeah, I think you might be right. It was talking about a lot of places. Like I've got a friend that is in the Philippines right now. He works with a missionary over there, and he was talking about that there, or not him, but I was looking at the weather over there, and they're saying that like Manila is flooded and things like that. So it seems to be like a global thing that's affecting a lot of people. But I kind of check the weather and stuff because he's over there right now, and kind of check the weather over there every once in a while when I'm bored, and kind of see what it's like over there. I wouldn't mind going and checking out his mission over there one of these days. Shane says anytime, but I don't know if they give it to Dart to put in my account or Dart did it and they will get it from Schneider. I'm trying to think, because when I was in Idaho, I had a guy back into my mirror and I was on Dart's insurance, and it seems like that Dart took it out of my maintenance account, and then when they got reimbursed from insurance, they put it back in there. I think's how they did it. They may have handled it externally of my maintenance account, but it seems like my maintenance account was involved. That's right, about the time when I ended up leaving Dart, because that's when I got to Dallas to get that mirror put on, and they did the stuff with my bumper and all that other stuff. There's a video about that. If y'all hadn't seen it, you can go back and check that out. Man, we got some life in here now. The comments just all of a sudden started flowing. If y'all got something you want to talk about, now is your chance. Say what you got to say, and if not, we'll get out of here. But while the signal's good, we might as well keep going. Oh, Robbie Ross should not have said this. Channel member and moderator, I've never had an accident at Dart. I can't help. Yeah, but you just jinxed yourself. As soon as you say something's never happened to me, it's probably about to happen. So hopefully not. But yeah, we were sitting at a truck stop in Idaho. I believe it was a Flying J, and this foreign guy, flip flop wearer, uh, was backing into a spot beside me, and he hit my mirror and then tried to drive off. And I ran across the parking lot and caught him. And he's like, "Oh, I was looking for a place to park." I said, "Well, why didn't you go ahead and park in that spot you was trying to get into when you hit me?" And he didn't want to give his insurance, and he didn't want to give his driver's license, and he didn't want to get out of his truck. I think he was afraid I was going to hit him, so he we ended up having to call the cops to get his ID and his insurance. But if I'd have been asleep, or if I'd have been in the truck stop taking a shower, he'd have been a hit and run, and that right there is the reason I got a dash cam. Hey, looky here, he got it working. Channel member and moderator Robbie Ross with the $20. NFL season is back. It's preseason. We have football. Yeah, I've been meaning to ask you, when do the Cowboys play their first preseason game? I'm sure they're doing scrimmages now, but when's their first actual preseason game? Yeah, I saw this too. Blue Smoke said Carol Fulmer went down, blames freight recession and ongoing lawsuits. Yeah, they were around like 71 or 73 years. I read a story on that. Started to do a video on it. Just never got around to it. And it's crazy. Companies that we thought would be here forever are really struggling. And as a one-man band, I'm struggling too right now. I talked to several drivers today that they're like, "Todd, you're not the only one. I'm struggling too. It's tough right now." And nobody has any compassion. Everybody's just like, "Oh, do better. You owe me this. You owe me that." And we're all doing the best we can do. But I don't think Carol Fulmer is the last one. I think we're going to see a lot more fall off if we don't have some good things happen really, really, really soon. Life on 18 is here. What's up, Todd? Oh man, I had a week. If you didn't get to see the first 30 minutes of the video, try to watch it on the replay. We probably 2/3 of my views come on the replay. A lot of people are at home, they're driving, and they like to watch it. So, but yeah, it's been a week. Probably one of the worst weeks I can recollect. Good to see you in here, though, Life on 18. How's things going for you over there? Shane says they ran on me. I did the same thing, but he took off and the cops got him and took him to jail for hit and run. Yeah, it's crazy. And a lot of them don't have insurance. They're running around with fake cab cards and all kinds of stuff. But they'll run on you if they get the chance. And I'm definitely against inward facing cameras, but the outward facing cameras, you got to have them in this day and age. There's too many scumbags that'll run into you and then take off on you. Robbie Ross, channel member and moderator. Cowboys play Rams August 9th at SoFi. I can't wait. I'm ready. Life on 18 says he's living, can't complain. Are you enjoying the step deck life? That's hard work, man, but you're young. You can handle it. Robbie Ross, channel member, moderator, 16th at home against the Ravens and 22nd home against the Falcons. Yeah, when it gets closer to time, my phone is set up to send me notifications, and I usually listen on SiriusXM to as many games as I can, as phone calls and everything will permit. The deal about the radio broadcast of the Cowboys, and if you guys have never listened to it, y'all need to check it out. When the Cowboys are winning by a lot or losing by a lot, they become comedians. It's hilarious to listen to them. So every time I listen to them on the radio, I'm hoping for a blowout. Either the Cowboys win by a mile or lose by a mile, because those guys will have you laughing hard. But I'm excited as well for football season to return. I wish it was more like NASCAR to where it went longer. But the problem with it is at the end of 17 games, most teams are pretty banged up. That contact starts wearing on their body a lot more than it does baseball or NASCAR or something like that. Life on 18 says, sure am. Yeah, if I was your age, it'd be something to look at, but I'm too fat, old, and clumsy now. I'd get up there and fall off the trailer or hurt myself. And quite honestly, I don't have the upper body strength that I used to have. I've done some minor repairs on the truck. I had a air brake drag sensor go out, and I took the lower part of the dash apart and replaced that myself. And I could have probably done this mirror myself. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but I was afraid I'd break a clip or something. So uh, this guy's been doing work for me for a while, and I thought, well, I'll just let him do it. He'll be faster. I won't be out in the heat. It was almost 100 degrees the day that he was taking it apart and doing it. But yeah, I did that sensor, and even then I bruised my ribs just leaning on the side of the door sill to get up under there, standing on the running boards and leaning up in there. I bruised my ribs on that. So I'm hitting that age where I'm just having to accept I'm getting old and I can't do things that I used to could. Robbie Ross, channel member moderator Brad Sham, has been calling the Cowboys games for over 20 years. Yep, him and Babe Lofenberg, and they're hilarious together. If the score gets crazy, sometimes I'll watch it on TV, but I'll turn the sound down and listen to the radio broadcast because those two are really, really funny. Mark Ely, New England Patriots are winning the Super Bowl this year. Man, I hope not. It's if for no other reason, I'm tired of all the cowboy jokes about. Uh, like I saw one on Facebook the other day. It was a picture of a VCR, and it said the last time I recorded the Cowboys winning a Super Bowl. And I get it; it's funny, but it's time for some new blood in the Super Bowl. Amen. 18. Life on 18 says, I don't know about all that, Mark. Yeah, I'm going to guess that Life on 18 is probably a Dolphins fan. Am I close there, Life on 18? By the way, I hadn't said it. I mentioned my replay gang that watching the replay. I appreciate y'all watching the videos. If you're driving, please don't have the screen facing you. Don't watch. If there's something I need to show you, a chart, a graph, something like that, I'll tell you, and you can go back and watch it later when you're parked. There was somebody that got busted recently for watching YouTube while they're driving. You can still listen, have it play through the Bluetooth on the radio in your truck, and have your phone face down or have the screen dimmed to where you can't see it. I'd hate for one of y'all to get a ticket or be in an accident because you were watching the video. But I do appreciate you listening, and I hope it. Now, see, this is the new problem. It keeps turning my mic off. I don't know why that's happening. And channel member and moderator Robbie Ross. Mark, if you feel that confident on the Patriots, put a wager on it. It will be a nice return. Does anybody, I know some of you do, how many of you mess with like fantasy football and betting on the games and stuff like that? I've never done any of that. I don't even know really how to do fantasy football. Oh, yeah. Life on 18 says Tampa Bay slow mode got me waiting to reply. Let's fix that right now. I bet I can help you with that one. We're going to take slow mode down to 30 seconds. And hopefully that way y'all can put some comments in here. Channel member and moderator Robbie Ross. I'm a football bettor. How does that work, generally speaking? Do you, well, one of these days we're on the phone, I'll get details from you. Would you say you come out on top more times than not, or you end up on the paying end more? Of course, every gambler is going to say, oh, I always win. All right, folks, I've removed the delay. You can type comments. So if you're a subscriber, if you've been a subscriber for 10 minutes, you can leave a comment. You can do like channel member and moderator Robbie Ross did also. There's super chats like that one there, super stickers. You can become a channel member. There's lots of things you can do to support the channel, and all of them are greatly appreciated. But in this economy, if you can just give me a thumbs up and subscribe, that works too. Gary Cook, I'd like to see the Chicago Bears go to the Super Bowl. Yeah, of course, I still remember the '85 Bears, McMahon and William the Refrigerator Perry, Walter Payton, all those guys. That was football back then. Channel member and moderator Robbie Ross says he does well betting on the sports. He said he hit big last UFC card on an underdog. Life on 18, maybe the Browns might get some traction. Here's the deal about the NFL is all the teams got a shot, but injuries is what kills them. So it almost seems like the team that makes it through the season with the least amount of injuries is going to go far. Everybody loves to beat up on the Cowboys, but man, they were riddled with injuries again, and everybody says next man up, and that's a great theory, and sometimes it works out and sometimes it don't. But if you want to know who's going to be in the playoffs, tell me who's going to be playing, and that'll tell you a lot right there. Gary Cook, I think Coach Ditka is still alive. Yeah, he was doing TV commercials there for a while. Mark Ely, dinner, Mr. Ross, Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Oh, I've always wanted to go there. I've got a guy in Phoenix that we made a bet one time, and that was the payout he owed me, was he's supposed to take me to that steakhouse, and of course he welched on it. But yeah, that I've always wanted to go there. I hear it's super expensive. Freight rates will have to go up a lot before I'll be eating there, though. Channel member Robbie Ross and moderator. What's the bet, Mark? Mark, you're being challenged to a bet if you're still here. I think whoever wins should take me to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Whichever one of you wins should take me. Mark is probably eating there right now. That's probably what he meant by that comment. Mark says, I got New England. Who do you got to win? And so what are y'all going for here? Who has the best record? Who goes the furthest in the playoffs? Like, what's your criteria for who the winner is? Robbie Ross, channel member and moderator. My team, I know, won't make the Super Bowl. Yeah, but the problem with our team, because I like the same team you do, is not even the team, it's the owner. The biggest problem with the Dallas Cowboys is Jerry Jones. Always has been, always will be. Well, since he's been in charge, since he bought the team. His ego kills him. Channel member moderator, Robbie Ross. My team, I think, is 8-9. I would go for the other way, probably 9-8 or 10-7. Maybe midway through the playoffs. I don't think they go the whole way, though. Well, I'm having all kinds of technical issues on this end. Speaking of the 85 Bears, though, who remembers that song, the Super Bowl Shuffle, with the Chicago Bears? I'm seeing some really disturbing things at the Dallas Cowboys training camp. They were having fist fights break out, and you're supposed to be on the same team, not fighting each other. It's hard to beat another team if you're sitting there beating yourselves. All right, we're at the hour and a half mark. If y'all got anything you want to say, now's the time. Gary Cook says, oh, yes, I remember that song, the Super Bowl Shuffle. The Houston Oilers had one, too. I don't remember what the name of their song was. But Houston Oilers and Chicago Bears were the two teams I remember making a song back then. Channel member and moderator Robbie Ross, I see you're using another Hawaii pick. That was on my balcony. The Pacific is in the distance. Yeah, so let me tell y'all another AT&T story. AT&T, with the plan I was on and with me having phone insurance and everything, they provided free photo storage in the cloud. And I had like 1.3 or 1.4 terabytes of pictures and videos on there. And I've had them on there for years. And they recently announced that they were doing away with their photo cloud storage. And I had till like October to get everything off of there. And so for the past couple of weeks, I've been moving pictures off of there, deleting stuff. That video I did the other day of the headsets, I'm using one of them now, the RW2. That video, I had an unboxing and it got deleted by accident, so that's why there was no unboxing for that video. But anyway, I'm moving all this stuff. I've got a 1 terabyte iPhone 15 Pro Max, so I knew I could fit everything on my phone if I just deleted some stuff. And so that's what I've been doing there. But I've lost a lot of stuff, but I've also found a lot of stuff, pictures and backgrounds that I didn't know I had or I didn't know what happened to. And so I'm going to upload them to my laptop, and hopefully in the coming weeks you'll see them as backstops on here. I've got all different kinds and all different places, and hopefully I can put them on here. But man, it was really inconvenient for AT&T to do that. And by the way, I haven't talked about this. I'm not promoting it, but everybody knows I've got 2 phone lines, and one of them is with AT&T and one of them is with US Mobile. And I really, really like US Mobile. And like I say, they've got a referral bonus. If you're planning to go to them, let me know. I'll get you the referral link. But you can pick any of the 3 networks, either AT&T, Verizon, or T-Mobile. The service has been great. It's cheaper, but the main thing I like about them is their customer service is awesome compared to AT&T. AT&T's customer service is awful. Awful. First of all, if you can find somebody that's in America, you're doing really, really well. Usually you get somebody either in Colombia or the Philippines, and you get mixed results. Some of them can help you, some of them can't. There's horrible wait times. I'm really, really, really frustrated with AT&T, and I've considered moving all of my stuff off of AT&T, but you know, I've got quite a bit of lines and stuff, and it's going to be a process. It's not something I can do in a weekend. But I've been on the phone with AT&T for probably 2 or 3 hours today, and I've had horrible signal issues with them lately and all kinds of stuff. But this is not a recruitment video for US Mobile. And like I say, if y'all got questions about that, reach out to me and I'll talk to you about it individually. Mark Ely says, nope, I'm at Jersey Mike's. I love Jersey Mike's. We've got 1 or 2 of them in Lubbock, and I've been wanting to go there. Just it seems like every time I'm in Lubbock, I forget about them. Mark says, pick a team that wins the Super Bowl. Robbie Ross could do that. Robbie Ross, pick a team that wins it all. Robbie Ross, channel member and moderator, I should send you this email of the CEO of Verizon sent out saying how bad Verizon customer service has been. Yeah, Verizon's never had great customer service that I can remember. I used to have all my lines over there. They used to have really good coverage, but it was always 4G or 3G. It seemed like their 5G footprint was really, really small. I think T-Mobile probably has the best 5G footprint, but I think they still struggle in some rural areas. Probably the best combination, and US Mobile has an option for this too. If you have a phone that's dual SIM capable, you can pick like AT&T as your primary service, and then you can have a secondary service of like Verizon or T-Mobile. And if you get in somewhere where your AT&T data doesn't work, then it'll switch over to that other network so you can use your phone. And so they've got a lot of cool stuff like that. Maybe I do need to do a video and talk about that and tell y'all all about it. I'll think about it. If that's something y'all want to see, let me know. Text me, leave a comment, email me, Todd at truckertodd.net. and maybe I'll do a video and talk about it. Channel member and moderator Robbie Ross says Buffalo is going to win it all. I won't comment on that until I watch a few teams play, because there's a lot of them we think they're going to be great, and then the season starts. Can't even really tell in preseason. I want to see a couple of regular season games, and then I'll tell you. I don't think you can ever really count Kansas City out. Patrick Mahomes is the man. And it doesn't hurt that he played college ball in Lubbock. That doesn't influence my decision at all. All righty, we're caught up on the comments. Has anybody got anything else they want to throw out there tonight? We'll give it another 30 seconds or so, and if not, we'll wrap it up. I want these two to get their bet finished first. So, Mark Ely says, okay, Robbie, you have Buffalo, I have the Patriots. And are y'all betting all or nothing going to the Super Bowl, or are y'all betting which one will have the better season? And what's the tiebreaker if they both finish the season with the same record? What's the tiebreaker? Life on 18, Jacksonville might make a name for themselves this year. I wouldn't be opposed to Jacksonville having a good season. I'd like to see the Houston Oilers have a good season. Just, it's more fun if it's teams that don't, like we all know the Patriots are going to be there at the end. They're going to be in the playoffs. There's certain teams we know that they're going to make a run every year. But it's nice if we get some underdogs in there too. That's all I'm saying. And the Cowboys, I think their last Super Bowl win was 1995. So we're talking about 30 years. It's time for something. And I still don't think Dak is the problem. I think it's Jerry Jones. I don't know that they'll win a Super Bowl until Jerry Jones is gone. Channel member moderator Robbie Ross, if they don't make it, go by record. Okay. So that's, and so you're going to, my microphone keeps disconnecting. I hope everybody can hear me. I do not believe it's my microphone, though. My laptop, I don't know why it does this either. Every time I get on it, it goes, you have an update, and it wants to restart right before I go live. And I always have to postpone it till after the live. And I heard Cassius King talking on his show one day that he's got the same problem. It's like it doesn't like StreamYard, and it wants to do an update every time you're going live. All right. So, Mark, are you okay with those terms? Are you okay with those terms? Whoever has the best record, and I guess y'all will work out the tiebreaker in the coming weeks. Shane says, have a safe trip tonight. Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to be driving the next few hours, so you'll be able to get me by phone, hopefully, if you need to talk to me, anybody. Hope y'all all have a great night. Thank you for joining me on this Thursday. Who knows, I may surprise you and do another one in the next day or two. If not, I'll try my best to be back on here Tuesday night. Y'all take care. And y'all, I'm going to say this to irritate my trolls. Mark says, absolutely. Good deal. Glad Mark got in before I got out of here. I'm going to say this to irritate my trolls, then we'll play This Is Why I Do This, and I'm out of here. Y'all have a good night. Once again, y'all have a good night.
And this is why I do this, why I'm out here, why I keep that hammer down. Flying by these road signs with home on my mind, with these wheels turning round. For my family and for my kids, for this life